Shout out to G-Man Boxing.
Will Josh Warrington rematch Mauricio Lara? Apparently Eddie Hearn has said that there was a rematch clause in the contract. He also has options on Mauricio Lara. Josh Warrington was rightfully taken to hospital following the loss to Mauricio Lara on Saturday night. Okay, now he got home, he's home, checked out. I think they said there was a bit of damage to his shoulder, and I think there was a bit of fracture to his jaw or something like that, worse to that effect. Everything else was seemingly okay. I would imagine there may be some concussion damage, like he may have suffered a concussion in that fight, because the knockdowns and the knockout were quite bad, so I wouldn't be shocked if there was a little bit of damage there. But Warrington released some statements on Twitter. He gave full credit to Mauricio Lara, which is good, and full credit is due to Mauricio Lara. He proved many of us wrong. I often say to myself, and I know I'm going a bit off topic with this, but I often say that your gut feeling and that your intuition you should always listen to that. I remember when I recorded a video when that fight was announced. Obviously I never uploaded it. There was a few issues with how the sound and how the lighting was, because for some reason the lighting were dimmed, and I completely forgot they were dimmed. There was a lot of things, and rather than re-record it, re-upload it, I just said I'd leave it. And then I started thinking, maybe this Lara is better than I give him credit for, and maybe he could surprise me and have some good rounds in there. So I'm actually, because the video I did recorded, I was really going in on the guy, and call it what you want, call it fake, call it whatever you want, but I decided no, I won't, and I'm glad I didn't, because Lara is better than I give him credit for. Josh Warrington said that what he really should have done was he should have boxed with Lara. He should have, never tried to, trade fire with fire, because Lara was just the bigger puncher. He was more accurate, and it was just a complete wrong style. From a stylistic point of view, it was just a complete mess for Josh Warrington. Now, I done a live stream on Sunday evening, alright? I'm not long after finishing it, mind you. And the general consensus was that Warrington shouldn't take the rematch because stylistically Lara will always pose Josh Warrington them problems. I 100% agree. Alright? If there is a rematch there, I personally don't feel as though Josh Warrington should take that rematch. I've always felt that, especially when it comes to knockout defeats, whether it be Josh Warrington or Dylan White, I've always felt that rematching someone who's just beaten you, especially via devastating knockout, very different if it was a close split decision and there's a bit of controversy. That's very different. When you've been in there with someone who has laid you out, who has hurt you bad, mentally there's a lot that, physically you could say I feel fine, but mentally there's going to be them demons there. It's always the case. Even if you go in and you win the rematch, look at AJ when he fought Ruiz. I knew he'd try and box Ruiz, and whenever Ruiz would get close, you could see AJ was holding back and being like, okay, just remember what happened last time. There's always those demons there. Like when David Price fought Tony Thompson, I mean, one of the worst things they could have ever done with David Price in the whole of his career was chuck him in with a rematch with Tony Thompson. Mentally, it does take away from you when you're knocked out in that devastating fashion. Josh Warrington was beaten up in there. He took a lot of shots, alright? He was getting countered an awful lot with that left hook. That left hook from Mauricio Lara was finding a home on Josh Warrington, and it was bothering him. I felt personally from the opening round, Josh Warrington felt the power of Lara and was intimidated by him. And I think with Josh Warrington, if he did take the rematch, if he did decide to box, he may very well have more success. But we need to remember with Josh Warrington, people have said before that his power is underrated. That I don't discount. He was able to rock Carl Frampton. Carl Frampton I've never suspected has had the best chin, truth be told. I've always questioned his whiskers a little bit, Carl Frampton. But Josh Warrington, the way he throws his shots, he doesn't sit down on them. Like, he will happily throw 5 shots and overwhelm you, but in terms of sheer brute force and power, there doesn't appear to be that much there. Obviously I'm not the one getting hit by him, but Mauricio Lara was never deterred once, and he was hit plenty by Josh Warrington in there over the course of the fight. He was hit with plenty of hooks, with plenty of shots from Josh Warrington. He was never deterred. So if Josh Warrington does decide to take a rematch, exercise the rematch clause, and does decide to, okay, I'm going to try and box this guy. In my experience, when I've seen fighters who don't have a lot of punching power try and implement a boxing game, what are you giving the fighter who you're fighting to keep? What are you giving him to think about? You're not giving him much. Alright, so Lara, I would imagine, would be beyond Josh Warrington like white is to bread, like a bad smell. You know, he'd be onto Josh Warrington like some creep trying to chat up a girl. You know, he'd be onto them like that. All right. So, from a stylistic point of view, I think that Lara is one of those. Josh Warrington against someone like Kid Galahad, stylistically, it's not going to make for an entertaining fight. But that's a rematch that you could give Josh Warrington. You could definitely see him win. You could see it going either way. Lara, stylistically, is nothing like Kid Galahad. That's a problem because he can counter with that left hook. He's definitely a big puncher. Definitely a big puncher. You know, definitely hits hard. You can tell just straight away by, you know, the way he threw. I said in the first round of my post fight, I noticed that Lara was tagging Josh Warrington in that first round, and you could see that he was taking note. You could see that them shots weren't necessarily hurting him then, but you could see that Josh Warrington was like, okay, I know, I'm in it now. You could tell straight away in that first round that he was respecting Lara's punching power. I don't doubt Josh Warrington will come back. I don't doubt that he can come back. I've always found Josh Warrington a very entertaining fighter. I do enjoy watching him. I do think his dad, Sean O'Hagan, is criminally underrated as a trainer. Absolutely criminally underrated as a trainer. He's a very good trainer. But I'm not unrealistic. I think that stylistically, someone like I was going to call him Erizlandi, a Mauricio Lara, is a problem for Josh Warrington. And that's going to be a problem moving forward as well. Like, imagine he does decide, imagine Emmanuel Navarrete, what he would have done in there. You know, I think that's a style that's going to cause Josh Warrington massive problems, especially considering the fact that the left hook that he was getting tagged with it consistently. He couldn't make the adjustments to stop getting tagged with that left hook. All right, it was consistently the left hook that Lara was landing on Josh Warrington. That's an issue moving forward. I mean, if you're a fighter, you look at that and you think, well, this guy has not got a great defense against a left hook, especially from countering with the left hook. I'm going to try and double up on the left hook. I'm going to try and hit Josh Warrington with the left hook if I'm fighting him moving forward. That's going to be an issue moving forward, in my opinion, for him. So Warrington's really going to want to take care from that. In terms of what you should do next, me personally, he needs to have a good long look and just see what the best options are moving forward. You know, would the Kanzu fight still be an option? Who knows? Potentially, maybe. Or would he look to go up to 130 pounds and maybe, you know, seek some opportunities there? I don't know. You know, but if he does go up to 130, Miguel Burchell, stay away from him. All right, don't go near him. Stay away from him. In terms of staying at the division you're at now, I mean, Kanzu may be a possibility. They may want to get Warrington. This was meant to be a tune-up fight, but they may want to get him a confidence-building fight. You know, I'm not someone who, if I was managing him, I wouldn't put him in there with Lara again. I think that style, even if you try and change your style, is going to cause you problems. All right. I think that Josh Warrington needs some serious rebuilding. All right, and I think that he may need maybe 2 or 3 tune-up fights just to get his confidence back to be where he needs it to be. He was saying the inactivity. People were saying the inactivity didn't help. Look, he took a beating in there last night, so he's going to be inactive for a good. It's going to take at least 6 to 9 months, maybe even a year, probably 6 to 9 months before he's fit to go in there again with any great degree of confidence. So you need to remember that as well. Like I said, Lara rematch, I wouldn't. You know, you know my history on this channel. I normally, if it's a case of a close fight decision, yeah, fine, go for the rematch. But when it's a knockout defeat, and it's a devastating knockout defeat, I'm very much in the realms of you probably shouldn't. You know, you probably shouldn't. AJ, I was a bit like, okay, yeah, because I know how you can beat Andy Ruiz, but yeah, I'm thinking you probably shouldn't in this occasion. So that's what I have to say on Josh Warrington. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comment section. Would you put Josh Warrington in an immediate rematch with Mauricio Lara? And if so, what would you do differently? Josh Warrington said he thinks he should have boxed. He would have won it. I think irrespective if he would have boxed, it would have been the same outcome personally. Maybe a bit longer, but I think that stylistically, Mauricio Lara is going to cause problems for Josh Warrington moving forward. That's just what I feel. Let me know in the comment section your thoughts. I hope you liked the video. Smash the like button if you subscribe, of course, if you're new to the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. Smash the like button. Hashtag GMansRocks. All that good stuff, lads. I'll talk to you. Peace.